Good evening. Just received the tarp that I was talking about. So this tarp is a Roman Ventures tarp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do an unpackaging right now. It is nighttime here, so I'm going to go ahead and do the unpackaging in my garage. I'm going to show you everything that comes with it. It's not all that precise. I have a little digital fish scale here that I'm going to be weighing some of the items in here to see exactly how much it weighs whenever it comes fully packaged, see what's inside and everything like that. The reason I'm doing it right here instead of doing it out in the woods and getting it all set up is I know that I'm changing out some of the gear. Earlier I made a couple different Ridgeline attachments. I've already got those set up. So once again, I know that I'm changing out gear, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and just unpackage it in here, string it up between two walls, take a look at it, go ahead and do a Ridgeline measurement, because I know that there are some different concerns or controversy out there as to whether or not it is a true 13-foot center Ridgeline, so I'm going to take some measurements on it as well. The first thing is take it out of the package here, plastic. So while it's all wrapped up in this, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the scale. We'll take a measurement just like this. So zero's out. So hanging just like that, we're setting at 2.94. So it just held. So you can see there, 2.94. That's what it's at in the package as it comes. So let's open it up and see exactly what all we have inside. So we've got the tarp. Guessing everything's wrapped up inside. Here we go. Feels like stake and guy lines. Wrap this back up. This pouch here. Let's go with grams. Ounces here. The bag doesn't even register. Like I said, this is a fish scale. It's not all that accurate as far as some of these smaller ounces and everything like that. So let's go ahead and put the tarp back in now that we've taken out the stakes and everything. And we're going to weigh it in ounces this time. All right, so let's put this on here, zero it out. 375 ounces. Just the tarp itself. So let's clear that. Let's go pounds. And that comes in 2.34 pounds. That's just the tarp itself, right? Just the tarp is 2.34 pounds. That thing had better have a 13-foot Ridgeline to be that heavy. See what's in here. Some of these guy lines, stakes, and more guy lines. That's kind of what I thought. So these guy lines are more of a paracord nylon material. I'm not using any of these guy lines. Ooh, drop that one. Use the spider toes there. So I'm not going to use any of these guy lines. All right? Yes, they are reflective and everything like that. However, this type of stuff, this nylon, whenever it gets wet, it stays wet, stays heavy. I'm not using any of this. So what I will be using is the 1.75 Dyneema. All right, so I know for a fact none of these, I will not be using any of these. So we're going to go ahead and ditch those all. Then we look at the stakes here. Stakes are pretty good stakes as well. I don't really invest a lot into some heavy duty stakes or anything like that. These are relatively light. They do come with the quick, what do they call this? The quick connect on it, or the quick, let me actually research that real fast and we'll tell you exactly what they call those connections, because they're actually on the tarp and they're on the stake. So let me see what they call them. Some sort of quick connection. line lock tensioners. Oh my goodness, I don't know why that name was so hard for me to remember. All right. So they do come with line locks on the stakes themselves. They also come with line locks on the tarps. I am not going to be using the line locks on the stakes. Instead, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting the 1.75 Dyneema straight to the stakes. I'm going to be having, I don't know, anywhere from 6 to 9 feet of Dyneema off of it, and then I'm just going to keep it wrapped up on the stake. So each stake is going to have its own guy line attached to it at all times. I don't know if I'm going to use these line locks yet or not, or if I'm going to switch up to, do I have them in my pocket? I do. Or if I'm going to switch up to these. So this is a piece of molly gear. So there's actually two little ears that come down on here, and what you do is you take this and you stick it up through molly webbing, clips in, it stays there. Well, it's got the little piece of shock cord on it. So what I've done with another tarp that I have is I attached it to the tarp with the shock cord, and then I use this little section down here to just kind of figure eight it and lock everything in on the tarp. So I'm probably going to swap out all of the line locks with these. I just like being able to loop around everything like that. I don't want to have to push my line through here, thread it through another hole. I don't want to have to worry about any of that stuff, because once again, I'm leaving my line attached to the stake itself. I'm not leaving it in the line locks and attached to the tarp. The tarp is going to be stored separately then from my stakes. All right. So with that being said, it does get cold. You get tired, you get hungry, whatever the case may be, is the dexterity in your finger starts to go. You're sitting here trying to fool around with your tarp and get it through there. I'm probably going to just swap out all of the line locks with these. That way I can just loop it right over and it's all clipped in, no problems. All right, so now let's go to the tarp itself. Let's go ahead and get this thing pulled out. For now, I am going to use the line that they sent just to hang it over here so that we can take some measurements. And then what I'm going to do once I get it all measured, I'm going to put my 1.75, I'm going to attach it to all the stakes that I need it attached to. I'm going to change out the different line locks that are actually attached to the tarp itself. I'm going to get these off here, change out the line locks here as well, get everything else that I needed run, and then tomorrow, whenever it is daytime, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to lay out the entire tarp and show you what it's like with the new hardware that I'm putting on it. All right, so we're going to take out these little lines here to begin with. This is what we're going to start with. Yeah, I got a couple of clips over there. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie just a little circle on the end here. A little circle on the end of this one. And I got a couple clips right up there. I'm just going to clip one of these eyelets that I have attached, and then we're going to get this thing strung out. Let's see if I can find the ridge line to make it easier to set up. I wonder if it's identified. So I do not see anything that just straight identifies the ridge line itself. So we're going to have to lay this whole thing out. All right, just got a couple clips here. I'm just going to clip, I have an eyelet over there, and I have an eyelet over there. I'm just going to clip them on there, and I'm going to run the line that came with it for now, just to get the tarp out. All right, got those. Get the tarp here. And whenever I was looking at it, it doesn't look like it has a dedicated set that looked like the actual eyelet itself, or not the eyelet, but the ridge line. So let's find that. It looks like these two right here. I'm going to show you this part close up here in just a minute. do this. This right here is what I was talking about. The reason I'm changing out all of this gear for the gear that I want. So imagine been hiking all day, it's raining, you're miserable, you got to eat. You know, if you're like me, whenever you start getting hungry, you start getting the shakes, or I shake a lot anyway, or it's cold, you start losing dexterity in your fingers. So if you did it the way that this is set up, you'd have to come through here, back through there, and then up through here, and set this up the same way every time. I mean, you could leave it attached to here, and then you would have to just go around the tree and attach it with a carabiner or whatever the case maybe is. Personally, I like the method that I'm going to use better than this, so we're going to go with that and swap out all the gear. And now we just pull these tight. That's a big tarp. There we have it. Roman Ventures 13-foot tarp. I'm 6 feet. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be 13 feet. Let's get the tape measure just to make sure. What I'm going to do down here, take it with me. Just going to take it. I'm going to use the existing line that's here. I'm going to wrap this around it a couple times. Just around the end, since I don't have anyone here with me. All right, put that there. Go all the way up. There you have it. 13 feet ridge line. That's a huge tarp. I am super excited about this tarp. I'm very excited. Now we're going to take top to bottom measurement. Bottom to here. So we're talking 4 feet 7.5 inches. So it claims to be an even 13 by 10. But with that measurement there, just laying down, I mean, there are some creases here, so let's try to pull it out a little bit here. Straight from the bottom right there to the top. Still talking right at 4 feet 8. So at 4 feet 8, you're talking that's 8, 9, plus that. Talking 9 feet 4 inches. Is my math right on that one? Yeah. 16, yeah. So 9 feet 4 inches. So it would be roughly 8 inches shy of being the even 10 feet that they claim. All right, however, it is 13 feet all the way across. We did take that measurement. Still, overall, definitely a huge tarp. So the next thing is I'm going to take it, like I said, I'm going to change out all the hardware. I'm going to take off all of these fittings, these line locks, and I'm going to swap out all of these with my own version of what I'm going to be using. All right, so tomorrow, whenever I go to set this thing up in the woods, I'll be able to show you all that. So that's the new tarp. Like I said, this is from Roman Ventures. Actually, I want to check one more thing I was talking to a friend of mine about. I was talking to him about the ridge line. So this one has 2 ridge lines, one on each side, and it pulls right here at the center support. Right. I was talking to him about it. I didn't know if with the tarp being this big, if I wanted to pull on the center seam that much. I didn't know if I would, eventually separate some of the seam or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look underneath. I'm going to see what the seam is made of, see if there's any ribbon down through here, or if it's just the 2 pieces put together. If it's just the 2 pieces put together, then I'm actually going to change up what I had said earlier about using 2 separate ridge lines, and I'm going to make one continuous ridge line with soft shackles and pressix on it. All right, so let's take a look at that. Okay, so if you look right here, it looks like you just have the two different pieces of fabric that are put together, sewn together, taped and sealed and everything like that. But it does not look like there's any type of extra support down the center of here to help support the pulling from either side with two different lines. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use a one continuous ridge line on this particular hammock. That's the setup that I'm going to make for this now. So that actually changes up my idea a bit of the two ridge lines that I had made earlier. So earlier today, I started off making these two ridge lines. One was going to be on each side, so this was just going to go around the tree, clip back in itself, and then this was going to go to the tarp. Not the case anymore. So now I'm going to make one continuous one. I'm going to make a couple soft shackles that I will attach to it, and then I'm going to attach it up here to the tarp, and that's how I'm going to string out this tarp, because it's a huge tarp. And as we saw, I mean, it weighs over 2 pounds, just the tarp itself. So yeah, it's going to need some extra support. So this 175 Dyneema, this thing only has a 4.5 stretch value before break, and it has a breaking strength of 650 for the 1.75 and like 1,000 pounds for the 2.0. So this is more than enough to hold up the tarp and then get it as tight as I need to between the trees as well. Yeah, so there we have it. Those are some changes I got to make to it. All right, so tomorrow you'll be able to see all the modifications in action. Thank you all for watching. Have a great evening.